this video log with me, Wayne, from swimmingcyclingrunning.com. Well, this week we're going to go over the running video that I said we would. We're in our gym again, but we're actually going to go outside and watch Shelley run, because Shelley's just got over hip replacement surgery. And while she's going back to running, she's 12 weeks through after hip replacement surgery, she can now go back to running. I really want to see if we can get her running better than she ever has. Retrain her muscles so that she's actually running really well. Now, during this coronavirus forced break that we have, all of us can get back to running basics. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through some exercises for Shelley to try and get her running better and with better form. And you can do exactly the same. So you can play along with this. You can actually do this after we've done it. And don't think it's an easy session. Actually, a session when you're practicing skills is really quite taxing on you, both mentally and physically. And you'll see Shelley by the end is actually pretty tired. We haven't done a huge amount of running. So let's just go to the computer and see Shelley running to see what she runs like today and see if we can make a difference in her running form with the practices that we're going to do. On the normal way. Now, the initial impression is Shelley's very stiff when she runs, and that's really what I would like to stop. And you can see this stiffness in her as she's running down the street. As we get closer here, that becomes more evident. You can see this sort of stop-start and the short shuffle that Shelley's legs are actually producing. So there's very little elastic rebound in that. It's all muscles working hard to get her forward. Now, as Shelley comes round again, you can hear the feet hitting the ground, which you don't really want. But if you drag that back, we can see that Shelley does have a slight forward lean. But that forward lean, unfortunately, is coming at the expense of a bend at the hip. And you can quite clearly see that. Now, we do want a forward lean. If we draw a line down Shelley, that's how we would like the forward lean to be, so that she's actually leaning forward as opposed to bending forward. Now, for efficient running, we not only want our muscles to be efficient, but we also want our connective tissue to be efficient. That's our tendons and ligaments, to create elastic rebound, so we're bouncing along. And if we're bouncing along, our muscles have less work to do for every bit of speed we want to gain out of them. So we're using little hurdles. They're about that high off the ground. But you can use anything you have at home to make a barrier. You can use broomsticks lined up. You can use towels laid out. The idea is just to get you hurdling over something, not a great height, but the fact that if you hit it, you're going to disturb it. And mentally, that makes you create that bounce off of that connective tissue. Now, you'll note as we go through, we start off with the hurdles around about that width apart. All we're trying to do is to get really fast feet, so we're trying to increase the cadence. Remember, power equals force times speed, where speed is the speed the force is actually applied, so that's cadence in running. And we want to increase power by increasing speed, or reduce the force we have to use to actually run. Either of those would be good for saving energy. How did that feel?
Difficult to get to do it.
Okay, so keep on doing that, yeah? Slowly but surely we want you to get faster and faster as you go through if you can, all right?
Okay.
That looked very, very bouncy. That was using your connective tissue, and that's what we want to see. All right, so just do it again and we'll assess. How did that feel? Okay, keep on going and we'll just assess as it goes through. All right. When you do that, you've got a really nice high knee.
Yeah,
Yeah, do you
it
feel
feels
that?
very different.
Which you don't actually have when you're running normally. Okay. Okay, so this time we're going to try and keep form going into those as you do once you're in them. Okay, just one thing. Well, they can run with their knees higher, but you don't really high. What you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I find it difficult
Did
to
you
judge
feel
that
that?
distance. Yeah, I know
so,
that.
So what we're trying to do is get it evenly through. So
Oh, very good.
that's better. You didn't anticipate that start. So with that first element, remember that the barriers are about that far apart. We really don't have to drive off the foot. We don't have to create any distance. It's just natural, one foot to the other to the other. Now we're going to extend it more, and we're actually going to have to start driving off that foot. The second one that we're trying now should not be difficult to hit. We're not trying to make it difficult so you have to drive really off the back foot very far. We're just trying to get further distance but keeping that really nice high cadence run. Okay, so now the hurdles are slightly further apart. And the idea is to actually get through them by driving off the back foot, not extending the stride.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's really the key here. So you're trying to drive off the back foot. Now I went through them. They seem evenly paced. Evenly spaced, should I say.
Okay, yeah.
So I think they are. Okay. Hopefully they are, because otherwise you've got to obviously adjust your stride. I didn't have to adjust my stride at all going through them. Hopefully you won't. So the idea is to sort of keep that nice bounce and drive off the back foot to get through.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay. What do you think the major difference between that one and the previous one was? Why it wasn't as bouncy?
Because I went through.
Not so much. You started off with a much longer stride, but it was a much slower stride.
Oh, okay.
We want to keep the speed up. We want to keep that cadence, the speed of foot, actually up. So you want those feet to generate as much speed as they were. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, you went back to...
Yeah, I felt that.
Right at the beginning. So we want bounce, bounce,
Yeah,
bounce,
yeah.
bounce, bounce. So take short strides before you get into it. Very short strides, and then you get into your long strides. So short, fast strides. Keep that speed of stride going up. Yeah.
Okay.
As you go through, but just extend off the back foot to get through it. How did that feel?
Very different.
It was much bouncier. Coming in, you're still slightly flat-footed. So we want to get that bounce going before you get in there and extend it as you go through. How did that feel?
A bit slower probably, maybe a bit too slow, but bouncy.
Maybe, but it actually looked quite good.
Oh, okay.
But what I would like you to do is now try speeding up before you get into it. How does that feel? Hang on a sec. Okay. So what I want you to do now is, as you're coming in, okay, are you getting tired? You've not done this for a while, have you? Okay, as you're coming in, I want you to think bounce, 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 bounce. Again, how did that feel? It's starting to look good. Yeah. Try not to, it's very difficult, I know. You're having to adjust your stride just before you come in, which is eking speed away. So try and see if you can, wherever you land, it doesn't matter where you land. You don't have to land in the middle. You can land really close to it, as long as you don't hit it. Yeah. How did that feel? Yeah, it was good. And you really started A, bouncing, and B, it was dead easy. Every single stride was dead easy, okay? Now the final section, we're going 3 inches further. And you might not think it, but 3 inches is quite a long way if you've actually made the previous one a stride width. So we're actually having to drive off the foot now and maintain a really nice extension on our leg, or drive back with that foot in order to get to the next section. and we've got to keep that cadence high. Now, in this one, towards the end, Shelley did get tired, so we stopped it. Now, if you get tired, you need to stop practicing drills, because the idea to practice drills is to practice what you believe, or you can get the closest you can get to perfection. The moment you know I'm tired, I'm not doing it well, you need to stop and come back to it another day. More is not better in training. Perfect is better in training. And so long as you can do it perfectly, carry on. As soon as you feel yourself tired, it's time to call it a day. Okay, so I've widened them out. Yeah. They're now 3 inches further on, but there's one fewer of them. And now, from when I went through, you actually do have to drive off that back foot to get through it. Okay, I didn't have to stretch, but I had to drive off that back foot. So that's what you want to see now. We want really fast legs, really fast feet, real nice bounce, and just try and get through that with just extending off the back foot. Okay, so I'll come towards you. Now, before I get into it, I'm going to have really fast feet, yeah? And that was a bit short of a run up, but, yeah, driving off the foot. So it was fairly short, but I was trying to pick up speed.
Yeah, very small steps going up to it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Didn't need big steps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you had fast feet going in, but you didn't have the speed. Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got to really get faster feet and drive some speed, and then you'll get through.
Huh?
It was nicer form though. Fast, 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 fast. That got better, didn't it?
Yeah.
So we need that speed going, yeah, and to drive off that back foot. Now that nearly got it, didn't it? That was nearly there. You just need a little bit more drive off that back foot. So you want to drive off that back foot with that speed. Just slowed down going in, so you lost the speed. I was going to say, how are you feeling? Because you look pretty tired now. Okay, I think that was good. You were certainly bouncing a lot better. But we'll call it a day there. So the change in Shelley's running technique, I think, was quite dramatic. We did actually get quite a nice forward lean. We got a nice bounce. Towards the end, she was tired, and therefore she was a bit laboured. But in general, the look of her run, the sound of her run, was so much better than it was before. Now it's interesting on this run that Shelley sets off and she actually takes up a forward leaning stance, which is really nice. As she comes through, it's really nice and balanced as she goes through. In fact, she almost has to check herself there instead of overstriding. So she really has to check her speed because she feels like she's going to overstride. But if you look at the whole thing, that position, we actually have what we wanted, which is a forward lean. We have a leg, and this is a consequence of her bouncing along, a recovery leg that's really nicely poised to come up towards the bum. And you can see her bouncing and being very relaxed as she's running. And that's what we're aiming for, a relaxed runner as opposed to a runner working hard. Now, to make sure she keeps that going, we're going to have to practice drills again and again and again. You don't suddenly change your muscle memory overnight. And remember, Shelley is coming back from a hip replacement surgery. And this is after about 14 weeks from her hip replacement. So 14 weeks after her hip replacement, she's doing these drills and running. In this time of coronavirus, when we can't necessarily get out and do what we want, it's time to go back and rethink our form, rethink our style in everything. And in running, it's a perfect opportunity for you to get back on the straight and narrow where you may have just been muscling through in the past. Use your connective tissues, use your elastic rebound, and you will actually be driving yourself forward with less effort than you ever have before. Okay, so hopefully you've found that useful. If you have, subscribe and hit that like at the bottom. And if you do subscribe, please turn on notifications so you get to know when we've uploaded another video. Alright, thanks very much indeed.